Hello and welcome to Burning Issues, the only program that provides you a glimpse inside the Wichita Fire Department. I'm Fire Marshal Brad Crisp, and in this episode we'll talk about the 4th of July and fireworks season, professional fireworks events, and burn prevention. Summer is a great time of year. The kids are home from school, families travel and visit new places, friends have cookouts, and we all participate in a variety of outdoor activities. But the 4th of July fireworks season specifically presents special fire and life safety challenges. Unfortunately, every year around the 4th of July, people in our community are seriously injured and property is needlessly damaged by the use of both legal and illegal fireworks. Injuries and fires are trending down, but last year 32 people sought medical attention for fireworks-related injuries. Additionally, fireworks damaged 3 homes totaling $53,000 in loss. At times during the holiday period, our emergency services, including Sedgwick County Emergency Communications, or 911, are inundated with calls from the public. I have a very special guest joining me today and would like to welcome Mike Greene to Burning Issues. Mike's the sitting Admiral Windwagon Smith and is also a licensed pyrotechnic operator with 42 years of experience doing fireworks shows. Mike, welcome to the program. We're also joined by Jose Ocadiz, who's a lieutenant in the Fire Prevention Division. Jose is also responsible for going out and looking at fireworks shows. He's responsible for helping us manage the types of fireworks that are used inside of our community, and is also a valuable source of information for us from a fire department perspective in fireworks. So Jose, we're going to start with you. Let's talk a little bit about what the Wichita Fire Department does in our community to help keep people safe during the 4th of July season.
Well, Chief, this year's 4th of July season is basically June 27th through midnight of July 5th. And basically this is the only time that the citizens are able to buy, sell, or use their fireworks per the Kansas State Fire Marshal's Office and the city ordinance. The time frames on that is usually from 6 a.m. till midnight each day, which is also under the local city ordinance policy. But the main thing that the Wichita Fire Department does, we conduct an inspection on every single tent to make sure that they're also abiding by the proper legal fireworks that are allowed to be sold. But the main thing is that every firework that are being sold in the city of Wichita inside their tents have all been tested by the fire department ourselves. So basically, hopefully we'll be able to tell which ones are not legal or illegal fireworks. So you won't be seeing any type of flaming balls, any type of explosions, and making sure that all fireworks in the city of Wichita are only 6 feet in height, nothing taller than that, and making sure that if you do purchase fireworks outside of the city limits, more than likely they will be illegal inside the city limits.
You brought up a lot of great points, and I just want to take a moment to highlight a couple of those. First, from a state statute standpoint, fireworks can only be possessed, sold, used in basically a 10-day window. And we're talking about consumer grade fireworks. We're talking about the kinds of fireworks that you could go to a fireworks tent and buy as a resident of Wichita or Sedgwick County. So it's very important that people understand that if you buy them, you have to use them in that 10-day window within the city limits of Wichita. You also mentioned testing, and we go out and we test each and every kind of firework that's sold here in Wichita. In fact, we did that testing just a few days ago, and like you described, they're not supposed to shoot flaming balls, they're not supposed to explode, they're not supposed to go up higher than 6 feet. That isn't to say you won't see those things being used during the 4th of July season, and Mike's well versed in some of those larger fireworks, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But we do a very thorough job of looking at fireworks, looking at the tents, and making sure that the fireworks that are used in the city of Wichita or are being sold in the city of Wichita are the ones that are legal for our community.
Yes, we do. We do attempt to make sure that we abide by the city ordinance and the state statute, but it's mostly for the safety of the citizens of Wichita.
So we go out and we inspect the tents that are in Wichita. We don't go out and inspect the tents in Andover or in other communities around Wichita, right?
No, it's just inside the city limits that we go inside and inspect all the tents, give them handouts for safety information on any type of injuries and how to properly dispose of fireworks also.
Right. So the fire department's going to be out on patrol as well with the Wichita Police Department. Can we talk a little bit about what the patrol looks like and why we do that?
Basically, on July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you will have the Wichita Fire Department and Wichita Police Department team up together and do patrols looking for illegal fireworks. And if they do, or if you do get caught with illegal fireworks, there's a possibility of getting a citation for the fireworks themselves.
Right, and we'll
even
also
being
confiscate
able
them.
Yes, sir, and also possibly being confiscated.
So police officers and firefighters alike, if they see you in possession or shooting illegal fireworks, we can issue you a ticket, we can confiscate those, and we'll be on patrol for July the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. What if somebody sees a person in possession of illegal fireworks or using illegal fireworks and they want to report that? Do they call 911 and report that there's some illegal use, or what's the best way of getting those things handled?
No, the fireworks, if you do have a complaint on fireworks, either illegal fireworks or after hours, there will be a hotline for fireworks that 911 we will be sending out, dispatching out through a PSA, but also just to make sure that'll be your reporting system, because remember, 911 is just for emergencies only, and in order to be so many firework complaints, that would take over our 911 dispatch capacity, and sometimes we might miss something that really when fire or EMS or PD needs to respond to.
That number is 290-1011. We're going to put that up on the screen. We're going to talk about that in a little while again for those kind of non-emergency complaints. But you can always call the Wichita Fire Department's office during the daylight hours at 268-4441 and report those illegal fireworks. We have firefighters and fire investigators on duty 24/7, and we will address those kinds of issues. As it pertains to firefighters standing by at commercial fireworks site, people will see firefighters out at those, and you look at those plans, and Chief Bevis and some of our other folks look at plans for commercial fireworks shows. Why is the fire department there? Why do we do standby at commercial fireworks shows?
Well, basically, we always want to make sure that the area is cordoned correctly to make sure that the citizens aren't that close. And the professionals, as Mike will be speaking of shortly, is that they use real big explosive devices, and they have a lot much more explosives in their firework display or in their shows, right, that it needs to be there for standby and also for the safety of the pyrotechnic experts, to make sure that just in case something malfunctions also.
That's a great segue. So we're going to turn to Admiral Windwagon Smith, Mike Greene. Mike, thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
You've been around fireworks for quite a while, and the big stuff.
Yes, I have. It was kind of interesting story. When I turned 18 years old, the church that I grew up in, we had a camp north of town, and the caretaker at that time thought he'd seen me around shooting fireworks, and he goes, "Mike, how would you like to shoot the big stuff?" And I thought, yeah, I can do that. So that was when I was 18. That's when I could legally do that in the state of Kansas, and the rest is history. Like you said, it was 42 years. So if you add 42 and 18, you come up with 40. And so, I've been doing it for
a while.
For a while.
We won't reveal your real age.
Yeah, right.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the big stuff, the commercial stuff? I think most people really don't understand the difference between the commercial stuff and the stuff that you can buy in fireworks stands, and I don't think most people can appreciate the dangers that are associated with those kinds of big shows.
Brad, it is very dangerous. Not unlike what you shoot that you buy in a tent. Every type of firework is dangerous. The difference between what I shoot and what you can buy in a tent, they're called, it's 1.3G fireworks or 1.4G. The 1.3G fireworks would be considered display fireworks, and 1.4G, which is what you can buy in a tent, are classified as being consumer fireworks. Right. The commercial fireworks or the display fireworks, you have a fuse that will be made out of quick match, which is paper wrapping black match. There is a lift charge that at the bottom of the shell that will propel the shell out of a mortar. There's a time fuse that is right next to the lift charge, and then there's a shell that time fuse goes up into. And when it gets to the elevation that you want it to be at, or that it's designed to be at, then that will break the shell, and then you have the beautiful colors that fill the air.
So from a visual perspective, and I guess I probably should have brought some with me, and I didn't think about it, but when people buy the small stuff, the 1.4 G stuff in the fireworks tent, some of them are about the size of perhaps a golf ball, maybe a lemon. The commercial stuff starts off about the size of a tennis ball or a baseball and gets proportionally bigger.
Absolutely. You can get tennis ball up to basketball size, and you will see those types of shells being fired in the city and in the surrounding areas at various commercial displays that are going on.
Those commercial displays are displays that the fire department and the pyrotechnic operators work closely together to ensure as much safety as can be expected could be in place, right?
You're right, Brad. Just to kind of put it into reference, the way that we set up a firing display, we take the largest sized shell that we're going to be shooting. We have to have for every 1 inch diameter of shell, you need to have 100 foot of radius drop zone. So if you've got, the largest shell you're going to be shooting is a 5-inch shell, you're looking at 1,000-foot diameter circle that it would be considered the drop zone, and you cannot have anybody in that drop zone that's a spectator. Only licensed pyrotechnicians can be in that drop zone.
Well, yeah, and it comes to light that sometimes those shells don't go off; they go up, but they come down without exploding. And for all intents and purposes, we're treating that as a live shell. So it's important to have that free area of spectators so that if a shell malfunctions, it doesn't come down in a group of people, right?
Exactly. NFPA regulations require 70 foot per inch. The company that I shoot fireworks for, we go ahead and go to that 100 foot radius. And also, I believe that if you're shooting inside the city limits in a highly populated area, the fire department or the authority having jurisdiction, the AHJ, would like to have that 1 inch, 100 foot per 1 inch diameter safety. You mentioned, along with that safety component, for those of us that are in that drop zone, we all wear ear protection. We wear safety glasses, and we also wear hard hats for that situation where a shell may go up and something malfunctions in the shell, and then you've just got that heavy 3, 4, or 5 inch shell dropping down into that drop zone area, and so we all wear hard hats to protect us.
So in your 40 plus years of experience, have you ever had an uh-oh? Have you ever had a moment where something didn't go the way it was planned? Yes, we have. And the nice thing, one thing that I didn't cover is we have various ways of actually firing the shows. We have what's called a hand-fired show, where you have a road flare on the end of a stick, and you light each shell individually. We can also do them by computer, and we also have a manual type of electronic show that we can shoot. The nice thing about when you have one of those uh-oh moments, you're always at a point where you can stop the show immediately. Right. In case there is the safety issue that has creeped up. That's I hate to go into a lot of detail. I will say, though, that all people that are shooting fireworks, whether it is consumer fireworks or commercial fireworks, safety is just the #1 priority. Absolutely, because even the small stuff that people can buy in the stands is still dangerous. It can still hurt you. The big stuff you shoot can not only hurt you, it could potentially kill you. But understand that the danger's still present. It just gets a little bigger as you move up in size with fireworks.
You can maim yourself, you can kill yourself with fireworks that you buy out of a tent.
Absolutely.
It's just you can't be safe enough.
So speaking of being safe enough, what advice would you give to somebody who comes across the commercial fireworks, the big stuff like what you shoot? And I say that because inevitably every year we have somebody show up who says, hey, I've got these shells, or we find them with these shells, we know you've got to have a state license to have them. We know that there's federal checks that go on, and obviously local checks that go on. And if you come into possession of those illegally, what advice would you give people who think that they're going to do something cool by shooting it?
Well, I'm kind of coming from a the viewpoint that you need to turn those over to the proper authorities. If you think that you can shoot those shells safely, you're dead wrong, and
right.
You could be dead wrong.
Literally.
Those shells that I shoot, we have requirements. They'll either be shot out of steel mortars, or they will be shot out of approved PVC, for lack of a better word, HDP pipe that is required or certified to be able to shoot those shells safely. You mentioned the different government authorities. In order for me to get a show, there is just a plethora of alphabet government authorities that have some jurisdiction over that, whether it's the ATF or the DOT, or I've got NFPA regulations. I've got a 45-page document of NFPA regulations that set forth the requirements that I have to follow in order to shoot the display fireworks.
And all those things are done in advance so that it is made as safe as humanly possible. That's not to say that there isn't going to be an accident or that somebody could get hurt, but we go through those things, and you and your company go through those things to try to minimize those dangers and make sure people are doing things the right way.
Absolutely. Anybody in my drop zone, first of all, like I stated previously, they will be wearing a hard hat, they will be wearing safety glasses, they will be wearing ear protection, they will be wearing cotton clothing as opposed to nylon or a blend clothing. Nylon and anything that along those lines, a blending of clothing will melt. Right. And that's the last thing you want to have on your skin. So yeah, cotton clothing, long sleeves, jeans. I know it's uncomfortable, but to protect the shooter and those in the drop zone area, it's priority.
It's a great segue into our next topic to discuss, which is basically burn and injury prevention. You'd mentioned long sleeve shirts and jeans, cotton materials, things that won't melt to your skin and continue to burn you as it melts. Last year we had 32 people who were injured in fireworks related injuries just in the Wichita metropolitan area. Interestingly enough, the age range with those were 16 months old to 60-year-old who were injured. When we talk about burn prevention injury, first thing we need to understand is that these things are hot. They're literally burning. They're on fire. And so, the mere fact that they do burn should cue somebody into thinking about, how do I prevent myself from getting hurt? So Jose, I know that you'd prepared some talking points for how to prevent burn injuries, and let's talk about a few of those right now.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, as you mentioned, 16 months of age. Mm-hmm. Basically, those are really causes from sparkles. And those sparkles, the temperature at the tips usually range from 1,500 degrees up to 2,000 degrees. Right. And we give them to the little kids because they look innocent. But in all honesty, a lot of those burns do come from little kids. And as Mike even mentioned, long sleeves, pants. Well, these little kids are usually in diapers or shorts or in a t-shirt or just running around barefooted. And those are the main ones that we have to be cautious of because they're innocent and they don't know how to protect themselves or if something was to occur. Right. So basically, it's supervision. Parent supervision is very, very important. Right. And also, if you do happen to get injured, no matter what age you are, cool water is the main factor of being able to do first aid right away. Never put ice on it because that makes it worse into your skin, the damaging of the skin. And if you need to, always call 911 for medical attention, and the fire department and EMS will respond just to be able to make sure that there's nothing any more severe that can be prolong any type of injuries.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Have adult supervision. Don't have sandals on or bare feet. And think before you hand that child that sparkler, which is a lot of fun, and we all did those as kids. Those things burn really hot. They need to be closely supervised. They need to be instructed on how to use it properly, which is holding it out and away from their body. And like you said, keep a bucket of water around just in case somebody were to get burned. You can cool it off quickly with water. Plus, the bucket of water could serve another purpose, and that is if you do have a small fire or a firework that's malfunctioning, you may have an opportunity to put it out with that bucket of water.
Yeah, that bucket of water is usually like to use it at the end of after all your using of all your fireworks to dispose of, and let it soak overnight before you dispose of them of the way you dispose of them. But also make sure that all your family members, no matter what age you are, stop, drop, and roll is very important at this situation, because if your clothing do catch on fire and not thinking or not being prepared or talk about emergency situations, more than likely the kids or yourself might even start running. So stop, drop, and roll is very important in order to be able to extinguish that fire, so you won't feed it by running and giving it more oxygen.
Mike, you talked a little bit earlier about the fireworks that you use and the type of mortar or tubes that you use, but I want to try to relate this more to the stuff that people can go to the fireworks tent and buy. Is it a good idea to modify fireworks or to shoot them in glass containers or metal containers?
It sounds like fun, but that's the last thing you want to do. Anything that, glass or a metal tube or whatever, unless it's certified to withstand the break, if you will, the burst of the shell, you shouldn't do that, because all that, the glass and just pot metal cylinders, all that will be is just shrapnel.
Exactly.
When the shell explodes, it's just going to be all over you. Something that was mentioned, adult supervision. The one thing that I think that we need to remember is that adult supervision needs to be sober adult supervision.
Yeah, absolutely.
There should be more focus, more attention paid on what you are doing with your kids than what you're trying to do with your fellow friends,
right,
of your age group. It's just critical that understand that kids are going to follow the lead of an older person, most usually your parents.
Right.
And if they see mom and dad doing something silly, then they're going to think it's okay.
Absolutely.
And that's the last thing that we want to have happen, because then they become one of those 32 last year reported cases and injuries, and those are just the reported ones.
It's really a great point. I'm not trying to make light of it, but we say things like, hold my beer and watch this, as an example of what not to do.
Exactly.
You don't want to go viral in social media because you lost your fingers or you lost your arm trying to be cute, trying to be funny, trying to do something with a firework that it wasn't designed to do. You don't want to be that person.
No.
In the event that something were to go wrong, because even legal fireworks and illegal fireworks a lot can malfunction.
Sure.
If there's an accident, what's the first thing that people should do, Mike?
Well, the first thing I would do would be call 911.
Absolutely.
Make sure that is number one priority. The second thing is, Jose, you mentioned something about having a bucket of water. If you can get water on that burn location, that's critical that you do that. You want to remove whatever clothing is on in the affected area. So, unfortunately, if it's a diaper, you want to take that off. If it's a shirt, take that off. If it's nylon, hopefully you can get it off, but those are critical things that you want to do.
And it's important to point out why. It's because you want to stop the burning, and the clothing will burn, and so you need to get those things away from your skin. So once you get your clothing off and you get the injury cooled with some water, yep, what's the next step, Jose?
Well, basically, you just want to wrap it up and make sure that the severity of it, as Mike and we're continuing to mention, is call 911, because that medical attention might be needed at that time, and especially if you are under the influence of something, it's important that child or even adults are able to get that medical attention as soon as possible. But as we're mentioning here, of all the fireworks that are sparkles and explode, and the ones that are legal here in the city of Wichita, we got to make sure that we do have pay special attention to the luminaries, mm-hmm, that float up in the air. Those are illegal here in the city of Wichita along with Sedgwick County, so we want to make sure that, you know, they are pretty up in the air and they're floating in the air, but once they come down, those are causes of grass fires and even the tree rows that we have located throughout the county area.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. It's something I meant to mention earlier. And so those aerial luminaries are illegal in Wichita and Sedgwick County because what goes up must come down, and we want to prevent somebody's property from getting damaged. So, Jose, Mike, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. I know you're really busy right now, Mike, with Riverfest coming up, and we really appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you, Brad.
Remember, 911 is for emergencies only. The complaint line for fireworks is 316-290-1011, or you can remember it like I do, 290-1011. And you can expect that line to be available for non-emergency calls July 3rd and 4th from 6:30 in the evening to 3 o'clock in the morning. The City of Wichita is sponsoring fireworks over the river in the area of Lawrence Dumont Stadium. It's good family fun, and we invite all of you to come out and enjoy the fun and safe fireworks show. For more information about the festivities on the 4th of July, please visit wichita.gov. If you would like to become more involved in the City of Wichita, or if you want to learn more about the Wichita Fire Department, you can go to wichita.gov and click on the Fire Department link, or you can call the Wichita Fire Department at 268-4441. That concludes this episode of Burning Issues. Our mission is to provide our community excellent proactive fire and life safety services through prevention, education, and protection. Remember, Wichita firefighters are highly trained professionals who are your friends and your neighbors. They're Wichita's bravest, and they're somewhere serving you in many ways every day.